In Grace B. Productions' Sunday Night Lights, we have seen the NASCAR world evolve into a sport with vast differences to our own. Old tracks given new life, new tracks constructed, new super teams, new iconic cars and superstars, a female driver movement, underdog stories for days, and so much more. With the many differences from our own timeline, some might wonder if some of these events and changes had happened in real life, what effect would they have had? While not all questions will likely be answered, I'd like to explore some of the possibilities, along with some extra alt timeline stories of my own. Starting from the original first season of Sunday Night Lights, 1987, we'll explore how some of the biggest changes in the SNL timeline would affect things in a mostly real life based timeline. Exceptions will be noted. We'll start small at first, mainly focusing on the Cup Series, but progress further and further until we reach a point where the timeline is almost entirely unique. With that, I would like to introduce this new timeline, Project Gearshift. Let's start with schedule changes. The schedule as it stands is mostly the same as 1987 in real life, but with some changes that are more reminiscent of what Sunday Night Lights did. We start, of course, with the Daytona 500, then Rockingham, then Richmond, Atlanta, Bristol, Darlington, North Wilkesboro, Martinsville, Dover, and Talladega. Those are the first 10 races. After that, we've got Charlotte, Riverside, Pocono, Michigan, the second Daytona race, Nashville, the second Pocono race, Talladega's second race, Watkins Glen, and the second Michigan race. Finally, to round out the season, we have Bristol's second race, Darlington's second race, Richmond's second race, Dover's second race, Martinsville's second race, North Wilkesboro's second race, Charlotte's second race, Rockingham's second race, Riverside's second race, Texas World, and Atlanta's second race for the finale. As for the All-Star race, while it may be hosted at Charlotte this year, from 1988 onwards the location will alternate. The location for 1988 hasn't been decided yet, but it should likely be decided upon by the time the season comes to an end. With that, let's move on to silly season. Starting with Hendrick Motorsports. It has recently grown into a 4-car super team. Benny Parsons has joined in a second Folgers car alongside Tim Richmond, who, I should let you know, does not have AIDS in this universe, though some things will come up and we'll get to those when the season starts. Parsons has joined Hendrick at a time when his career is winding down. Going forward, we should expect to hear a retirement statement from him at some point, but it's unsure when that will be. But for now, we'll have to keep our eye on Hendrick, as with the lineup consisting of Darrell Waltrip, Benny Parsons, Jeff Bodine, and Tim Richmond, they are one hell of a super team. Next up, real-life fan favorite, Mark Martin. Martin will be going for a full-time season this year, partnering with Hamby Racing and driving their number 12 Oldsmobile. He has a 1-year sponsorship contract with Old Milwaukee. Unfortunately, after that year, they won't be sticking around, as parent company Stroh's Brewing wants to bring in their Stroh's Light sponsorship with the team. It's not known who that team will be yet, but we'll have to wait and see. But for now, Mark Martin is looking to restart and refresh his Cup Series career. Hopefully he can impress some people and get a full-time ride next year. Next, we have one of our rookie contenders alongside Davey Allison. This being Patty Moyes. After showing some moderate success in the Busch Series, where despite not getting the win, she had some really good speed, Moyes has decided to move her owner-driver operation to the Cup Series, and will be driving the number 37 Red Roof-In Buick. She will be competing for Rookie of the Year alongside Davey Allison, Steve Chrisman, Rodney Combs, and Garrett Cope. in real life, this car was a part-time entry in 1988, of course being a 1988 Buick, but I felt that, given that I wanted to incorporate the female driver movement into this universe at some point, it'd probably be a good idea to give Patty Moyes an earlier start. Admittedly, she would have been a rookie in 1988, but I've altered the backstory a bit, so hopefully it makes more sense. Finally, we have ourselves the major change. Sunday Night Lights poster child, Bubba Nissen. After several successful Busch Series seasons where he came runner-up in the championship time after time after time and got a few wins along the way, Bubba Nissen decided to move his team up to the Cup Series last year. In an unusual trend, he proceeded to finish second again in Rookie of the Year standings to a young Alan Kulwicki. Now he goes into 1987 looking to have a point to prove as he goes up against his fellow owner driver in Kulwicki and looks to start off his Cup Series career with a bang. With all the preamble out of the way, let's start off the season with the Daytona 500. Just to let you know, however, all four of the major fictional story drivers unfortunately missed Daytona. Tim Richmond came down with pneumonia, actual pneumonia, not what happened in real life, and as such, unfortunately had to miss speed weeks. He should be recovered enough to come back for race 2, however, for now, he is off the track and is recovering in nearby hospital. Hadley Racing is still sorting out their program. As such, Mark Martin had some engine issues both in qualifying and in his dual race, so unfortunately, he has not made the show. In a way, you could say the same for Bubba Nissen and Patty Moyes, but in a different situation. They both had engine issues in qualifying, but they were going pretty well in their dual race until they came together with 6 laps to go. Patty Moyes broke a front suspension link and careened into Nissen, unfortunately sending them both out. There were no harsh feelings between the two, but both were rather disappointed as a moment of unfortunate luck put them both out of the race. With that out of the way, we'll now get to the Daytona 500. Dale Elliott starts on the pole with rookie Derek Cope surprisingly being on the outside. Ken Schrader and Davey Allison, another rookie doing well, won their respective dual races. And with that, we go green and go racing at Daytona. Early on, a surprising face in Grant Adcox takes the lead briefly. But quickly we see Michael Waltrip coming to challenge him. Waltrip's doing pretty well in the lead, with Benny Parsons pushing him. After some time, Waltrip retains the lead, with Parsons falling further back. A surprising face in Trevor Boyce has made it up to second, and is looking to push Waltrip further, if not overtaken. Waltrip gets held up by the lap car of Mike Potter, which briefly allows Trevor Boyce to take the lead. However, he is quickly passed by the duo of Rusty Wallace and Terry Labonte. Labonte makes an almost immediate pass on Wallace as soon as he gets to the lead. Dale Earnhardt trails behind, as well as an interesting face in AJ Foyt. Soon, Earnhardt's going for the lead. He passes Terry Labonte on the inside to take the lead of the Daytona 500, a race that he's still looking to win. As this happens, Foyt comes to the inside and looks for his second Daytona 500 win. On the inside now are a pair of underdogs behind Earnhardt and Foyt. Trevor Boyce is being pushed by Jimmy Means, one of the many owner drivers who has been making a resurgence recently. Soon, they get split up by another familiar face up front, the Thunderbird of Ken Schrader. Not long after, however, they're back together, thanks to a push from Terry Labonte. All the while, Dale Earnhardt still leads. Things are getting dicey at that though. Jimmy Means moves up to third, moving around Trevor Boyce. Then looks for second, trying to move around Foyt. But he's too far back, and Foyt cuts him off. Terry Labonte looks to pass on the high side. Unfortunately, he won't make it work. Bobby Hillin Jr. has now made his way towards the front. Soon pit stops begin, and The first group comes down, led by Bill Elliott. This also includes Terry Labonte, Michael Waltrip, Ken Schrader, Derek Cope, Dave Marcus, Greg Sachs, Jimmy Means, and a few others. Another group soon comes down pit road, led by Grant Adcock. This includes Dale Earnhardt, Alan Kulwicki, Bobby Hillin Jr., and several others. Tommy Ellis is seen running second through the pit cycle, and eventually going for first. Davey Allison trails behind him, along with Sterling Marlin. As the race goes on, an interesting mix of frontrunners emerges. Meanwhile, Richard Petty has unfortunately gotten some damage due to a pit road incident. Grant Adcock leads as it cycles through, with two very fast red and white cars in the form of Bobby Hillin Jr. and Alan Kulwicki trail behind him. These two drivers have a point to prove after last year, Alan Kulwicki being Rookie of the Year, and Bobby Hillin Jr. defending Talladega winner. Petty's car is unfortunately way off the pace, and he's rapidly being caught up by the leaders. We'll have to see how this plays out. At the same time, another pack of cars is quickly approaching the leaders. Soon enough, Petty's car is actually holding up the other pack of leaders. A breakaway ensues with three very fast cars, the Pontiac of Rusty Wallace, and the Chevys of Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt goes to the inside on Labonte, and at the same time, Kulwicki goes to the inside on Hillin. While trailing Grant Adcock, these two are scrapping it out. All the while, the other pack is approaching rapidly. Kulwicki goes to the inside of Adcock, taking Hillin with him. Hillin looks to go to the inside of both, but can't make it work. Instead, he goes to the inside of Adcock's, looking to follow Kulwicki forward. Hillin looks to the inside of Kulwicki going into turn 1. Out of turn 2, they are side by side with Hillin with the advantage. Adcock is coming with them. Hillin to the lead in the 500. Just last year at Talladega, he became the youngest winner in Cup Series history. Now he looks to become the youngest winner in the Daytona 500's history. But Grant Adcock has something to say about that. He goes to the inside with a push from Kulwicki. The other group is caught up now. Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, and Rusty Wallace. They all push Kulwicki. It's looking increasingly likely that these cars will be the ones that fight it out for the finish. Kulwicki looks low, but Dale Earnhardt goes lower. He's followed by Rusty Wallace. Hillin is catching back up. He chooses to stay on the low line. Adcock still leads. For how much longer? We're not sure. Kulwicki and Labonte fall back. As Wallace looks to the inside of Earnhardt. And Hillin looks to the inside of him. Hillin tucks back in, avoiding the 3 wide. As Wallace goes past Earnhardt, Hillin coming in tow. Kulwicki pushes him. Wallace tucks in behind Adcock, then ducks low. Hillin follows him, along with Kulwicki. Adcock has relinquished the lead. Rusty Wallace now leads. Hillin goes to the inside. He is now the leader. We are just over halfway through this race. There are still pit stops to go. But at the current moment, Hillin is your leader, followed by Terry Labonte, Dale Earnhardt, Grant Adcock, Rusty Wallace, and Alan Kulwicki. The lap car of Petty comes up again. Hillin makes it through. Earnhardt follows him. Hillin, Earnhardt, and Adcock have broken away, as Terry Labonte leads group down pit road for green flag pit stops. Petty spins off the nose of Dave Marcus but keeps it going. Meanwhile, Earnhardt makes a pass for the lead. With a push from Grant Adcock, he gets around Hillin. At some point, these three will have to come down pit road. When will they make their move? Who has the best strategy? And even after that strategy plays out, who can make it to the line first? The top 4 come down pit road. Earnhardt, Adcock, Hillin, and Kulwicki, followed by a large group of cars behind them. Bobby Wallach stays out. As cars are coming on and off pit road, a fierce battle is ongoing between Terry Labonte and Rusty Wallace. However, Earnhardt emerges along with Hillin. Kulwicki behind them. Kulwicki quickly gets swamped by Wallace and Labonte. but Earnhardt and Hillen are still further out in front. They'll be up to speed by the time the others get to them. At the same time, Hillen makes a move for the lead. All simultaneously, Labonte looks to get around Wallace. Hillen now to the lead. Labonte third. Labonte goes for second. Hillen cuts down to cut him off. Labonte's up to second, but Hillen blocks and keeps first. Kulwicki looks to the inside, but then tucks in. Your eyes do not deceive you. Mark Stahl is on the lead lap. He's among the leaders. Terry Labonte goes to the lead, with a push from Kulwicki. Hillen is left out to dry. Earnhardt looks very low. He goes for the pass on Kulwicki, with a push from Stahl. Mark Stahl is running the race of his life right now, but the others are looking to pounce. Earnhardt goes to the inside of Labonte. He doesn't have enough energy to do it. He's to the inside of Mark Stahl, and Bobby Hillen is catching up to his bumper. Kulwicki pushes Hillen. Hillen is right on the back bumper of Earnhardt, with Kulwicki slowly catching up to his. Hillen looks to the inside of Earnhardt. Earnhardt thinks of going low, but Hillen is to the inside. Through turns 3 and 4, Hillen's looking for second. The push on the high side is strong, but Hillen's got the inside through the corners, and he can make that work. Labonte's still in first, but it's a fierce battle for second. Mark Stahl now pushing Hillen. Stahl himself is pushed by Rusty Wallace. Hillen is firmly in second, moves up to block Earnhardt. Labonte still leads. But here comes Bobby Hillen. Hillen looks to the inside. Hillen's got no help. Earnhardt moves down, and now Hillen has help. Hillen goes to the lead, but Earnhardt stays on the bottom. He then moves down with Hillen. We're getting into the closing stages of the race. Things are starting to get intense because they know a win is on the line. Hillen, Earnhardt, Labonte, Stahl, Kulwicki, Wallace. They're all in the hunt here. Bobby Hillen Jr. is your leader. Dale Earnhardt behind him in second. Terry Labonte catching up to third. The Miller 8, the Wrangler 3, the Budweiser 11. Labonte looks to the inside. He's going for second. Hillen blocks. Hillen retains first. But Labonte has moved up to second. Terry Labonte behind Bobby Hillen Jr. Dale Earnhardt now in third. Labonte looks for the lead. Earnhardt goes with him. Stahl goes with him. Labonte to the lead. On the low side of Bobby Hillen. Earnhardt immediately ducks out. Earnhardt looking for the lead. The scrap between the leaders is getting intense. Stahl is up to second. Kulwicki is third. Wallace is fourth. Any of these drivers could win the Daytona 500. Kulwicki looks low. Wallace goes with him. Wallace makes it 3 wide. Rusty Wallace looking for second. Mark Stahl is dropping out of it. He's on the really high side. Hillen's now in fourth. Wallace looks low. Kulwicki looks lower, but tucks in behind Wallace, between Wallace and Hillen. Rusty Wallace is now the leader. Earnhardt has been left high and drawn. Hillen looks low on Kulwicki. He's going for second. He's got to run. He looks to the low side of Wallace. Hillen and Wallace side by side going into one. Hillen's going to have the advantage. He's got a push from Labonte. Hillen back to first. Bobby Hillen Jr. leading the Daytona 500. Hillen with the lead. Some apparently can't make it on fuel. Michael Waltrip is seen exiting the pits. The leaders make it around him safely. Hillen still leading. Wallace has a run, but nowhere to go with it. He takes it side by side with Labonte, but Hillen still leads. White flag, 1 lap to go for Bobby Hillen Jr. Stahl peaks. He can't make it work. Top 4 in line. Will any moves be made, and if so, where? Wallace looks to the low side. Stahl goes with him. Earnhardt looks lower. Wallace moves to second. Earnhardt looking for third, but neither of them are going to do enough. Bobby Hillin Jr. is going to win the Daytona 500. Bobby Hillin Jr. becomes the youngest winner in Daytona 500 history. And with that, here is your top 10. Bobby Hillin Jr. comes away with the win. Rusty Wallace in second. Terry Labonte in third. Dale Earnhardt in fourth. Mark Stahl with an impressive top 5 finish. Rookie Alan Kowicki in seventh. J.D. McDuffie with his first lead lap finish in seventh. Great for him. Buddy Baker in eighth. Ken Schrader in ninth. And Greg Sachs rounds out the top 10. Unfortunate days for Bill Elliott and Jeff Bodine, who finished towards the bottom of the rankings, along with Bobby and Davey Allison. Neil Bonnet in there as well. Ricky Rudd. Dale Yarbrough. Harry Gant. But today is a day of celebration for Bobby Hillin Jr., the youngest winner in Daytona 500 history. And with that, we come to the end of the first part of Project Gearshift. Thank you all for watching. At some points I'll come up with part 2, which will cover races 2 to 10, those being Rockingham to Talladega. But until then, I'll see you all in the next video. This is the Starlight Alchemist signing off.